Hello, hello, hello. What's everyone up to? I am Matt Williamson at Williamson NFL. Great to chat with you once again. And it is early April. It is officially draft month. It is heavy draft season. Kind of rare to even see any trades or major transactions right now. People are hunkering down, going back to the tape, finalizing their grades on players, pro days, in-house visits, all that good stuff. All of which we'll touch on. But I thought today was a good day to talk. Well, we'll tell you in a minute. Pro Football Focus yesterday put out, I guess it was Monday, whatever. This week, they put out their rookie class ranks. 2023 rookies, ranked them all 1 to 32. They ranked the Steelers 10th, which I thought was way too low, to be honest with you. Yes, they should be behind the Lions. They should be behind the Texans, who had the offensive and defensive rookie of the year. But after that, I'm starting to run out of teams that I would say that was a better rookie class than what the Steelers put out last year. Broderick Jones, Porter, Benton, you know the names. But I also found it interesting because I've been looking for this information too. How many rookie snaps did every team have last year? Steelers are right in the middle of the pack. They were the 15th most rookie snaps. I would have guessed they were 8, 9, something like that. But remember, Benton was a part-time player. Herbig was very much a part-time player. Washington played a fair amount, but was not a, quote, starter. Broderick Jones started his season and career for that matter, as did Porter, without a lot of snap counts early in there. But I bet if you would, go by the first half of the season, second half of the season, the Steelers have been high in that regard. So here's what they said about the class, just a real quick little rundown. Joey Porter Jr. was thrown into the fire, immediately asked to cover the best receivers in the league. Overall, he held his own and has a bright future. More than held his own, in my opinion, and I do think he's a bright future. Keanu Benton didn't produce high sack numbers, so his good rookie season is flying under the radar a bit. Okay, they're not in-depth, deep analysis here. Never really mentioned Washington. I thought Herbig was very productive on a per-snap basis. And Broderick Jones also got thrown into the fire too, and I thought he was very, very good. But what do we expect out of the four of them and Herbig next year? I think it's real easy to say, well, they'll all get better. They probably won't. That's not how the league works. Maturation and improvement is not linear. You just don't take a step forward every year. Some will. I think Broderick Jones in particular is the one that could go from getting his feet wet, had a lot of really good spurts, highlights, to being a lot more consistent and is maybe a top 10 type offensive tackle this time next year. Washington worries me a little. I just would have liked to see more downfield routes. I don't see a lot of quick twitch to him. Benton, I have no concerns with whatsoever, and I think they have extremely high hopes for. Herbig's role, unless a Golden or somebody like that gets back in the mix, sure looks like it's ready to spike. And I'll talk about the guys that didn't play too here on the other side. And Porter, this isn't a knock on Porter, but history shows, especially recent history, that cornerback play isn't super consistent compared to other positions year to year. It's a reactionary position. It's an athleticism-based position. So I have no concerns about him. But to take the leap of faith as a Steeler fan and say, boy, did Porter have an awesome rookie year. Next year, he's going to be the best corner in the league. Well, pat the brakes a little bit. BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or your mobile devices. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team, and remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. Now, I want to continue this conversation about rookies/young pups. Now, I've been saying this, and I don't want to get people overly exuberant, but I think they have a lot of hope for the 7th round pick, Anderson. And that just might be a swing interior player. But I think he's going to be on the team next year. I think he's a quality player that they're counting on in some capacity, which for a second-year 7th round pick is a home run. I also think Dylan Cook is somebody that is tackle that they are also very fond of in terms of young offensive linemen that we haven't seen in the regular season, which fortunately, because they weren't hit with injuries, there's no reason to put Anderson or Cook in the lineup. But last we saw was preseason, if you're not watching practice all the time during the week. And they were both quite good, and I both think they have promise. I'm not saying they're going to be the Brock Purdy of offensive tackles and interior linemen and all of a sudden light the world on fire as, low pedigree dudes. But don't forget about them. Two others at a premium position at corner, Rush and Trice. I think people are not excited enough about Anderson and Cook and too excited about Trice and Rush, both of whom I liked a lot coming out of college. But Rush is now on his 3rd team. And Trice was a 7th round pick that's coming off a very major injury and was a 7th round pick because of injury concerns. Now, I'm thrilled that they are Pittsburgh Steelers. I can't wait to see them at camp. I bet they get a ton of reps. I bet they see a ton of preseason action. But I think to count on those guys as, one's going to be a starter opposite Porter for the next 10 years, or one could even be your 3rd, or one could even be your 4th, is a little bit of wishful thinking. I mean, it's just how the league works. I mean, they have size, they have traits, both might hit, but I kind of think you have to look at Rush and Trice whatever you get of them is the whipped cream and the cherry on top. It might be great, but it's not the foundation. And to team build with the fact that, they'll both make the team and they'll be longtime NFL players is bonkers to me. But again, I'm excited about them. These aren't negative things about them. It's just, these are the profiles. Now, I came up with 4 other names that before you know it, the league starts to pass you by pretty quick. That these aren't guys coming off their rookie season, but they're young pups that are career crossroads guys, that it's time to put up or shut up. Are they even guaranteed to make the team? Could they be the type of guy like a Kendrick Green or Dotson that gets traded for a 7th round pick at roster cut time? Could you draft right past them and forget all about them? Because that's how this league works. It's cruel. And that's why I say these things about Rush and Trice and Darnell Washington. It's not all positive. So the 4 names I looked at there are Mark Robinson, signing Patrick Queen. You knew somebody was going to get signed. Sure doesn't give him a great path to making the team. I do think he took strides on special teams, which is big. But, these aren't super high pedigree guys, but Mark Robinson is at a career crossroads with this team. Happens every year to a handful of these guys. It's just how it works. I think Calvin Austin's there already. It's hard to put him on the field for a lot of snaps. Yeah, he's a returner, but he also, at least under the last coordinator, was somewhat of a tell when he was on the field. He's not going to block anyone effectively. They're going to draft receivers. They've signed 2 that are not noticeably better or worse than Austin. I'm just saying, does this coordinator who comes over with wide receivers like Mac Hollins and Drake London that look like they play a different sport than Austin, interested in the guy with his skill set? I don't know the answer is yes or no. And it's not, you don't have to squint real hard to see any of these names I'm mentioning being on the outside looking in when it matters for the future of this team. The last 2 to me are also pretty obvious, and they have a correlation, and that's Leal and Loudermilk on the defensive line. Now, I was very impressed with Armani Watts and Adams. Okay, good. And those guys were ahead of both Leal and Loudermilk. And if you ask those dudes, what was your role last year? It was pretty clear, and they've even come out and said this, that Loudermilk would say if we expected a heavy run game at us, I was active and DeMarvin was not. If we thought it was going to be a heavy pass attack, Leal would be active and Loudermilk would not, assuming everyone's healthy and whatnot. Okay. Well, you're still the last guy in your position group in that scenario with plenty of guys ahead of you. And it wasn't like 3rd and 8, Leal was out there lighting the world on fire, or 1st and 10 against the Ravens, Loudermilk's just shutting dudes down in the run game. And again, these guys have been around for a while. Is Leal a square peg in a round hole? Could be. Is Loudermilk just never going to quite get it done? Could be. Again, the league is cruel. Don't count on Trice, Rush, Leal, Loudermilk, Austin, Robinson, to be sure things, building block, pillars of your team. Chances are they're going to be fighting for scraps. I mean, maybe one of those names I mentioned really steps up. You take that, like Anderson and Cook to me are needed to be mentioned, but sort of in a different light than those guys, where these other ones should be a little more nervous, maybe, So I thought that was a fun conversation, just talking about soon to be second-year players / young pups, because say what you want, this draft and then cheap free agency is going to steal some of these jobs too. What if there's a big, long corner that they can't live without, Well, he's probably going to make the team, and one of those guys isn't. It's just the way it is. It's a cruel business. So just thought we'd kind of remind you how this all works, that it's not all roses and all that for these young pups. And I'll be back tomorrow. Take care.